afternoon.
Good evening, Joe.
Welcome, everybody, to the Sandbox GMEE show. Ladies and gentlemen, a little bit late today. Had a great interview that was scheduled, from somebody halfway around the world. They had a very particular time, and I was like, well, that's GMAE time, but we're going to make it happen. We'll push the show a little bit later. And we are here for you right now to talk about all things the Sandbox game, including the news that came out today. We're going to play a game created by someone like you inside the community at their request. And if we have time, get back into Alpha Season 3 content. I put out a poll on my official Twitter, my personal Twitter, at DivisionX, just yesterday. And I said, what do you guys want to see? And in a 60-40 split, almost perfectly, 60% said, show me Alpha stuff. 40% said, show me stuff that we made together in the community, criticize that content so that we can make it better for the metaverse. So, with that in mind, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, in the future, we're going to be playing Alpha for as long as there is Alpha to play. And then on the Tuesday and Thursday version of GMAE, we will play games created by you inside the Sandbox Game Maker that you can publish into the Game Maker gallery right now, including games for Game Jams, which may be undergoing voting, or maybe you're in the middle of creating them for a Game Jam and you want to make sure it's super high quality so that you can increase your chances of getting up there at the top. We'll do that QA for you here live on the show, where you can then go fix it, work on it, patch it, adjust it, and get it ready. Chat! We're gonna have a good time out here. Let's talk about the things that came out at the Sandbox game on our Twitter earlier today. If you missed it, the Playboy Rabbitars collection will now have a voxelized edition that you get one-to-one voxelized avatar if you own the Rabbitar, right? So this is an interoperability patch that the Sandbox game is providing to all Rabbitar owners. If you own one, you'll automatically have that interpretation as an avatar selection in your profile at sandbox.game. That's the first piece of news. Second piece, it is the middle of Cryptoween. Ta-da! What's up? Panda Pops. The wild Panda Pops joined the chat.
Yes.
Good morning.
I literally just came here to annoy you for like 5 seconds and then run away.
Alright, what you got? What you got, man? We're in the middle of the news segment. What you got?
That's literally it. That's all I've got to annoy you.
Alright.
That's literally it. Also, I accidentally had the audio on, so I'm hearing double, and it was really off-putting.
Yeah.
Right.
That's payback,
okay. That's literally it. I just came in here to be like, yo, hi, and then run away.
Alright.
Yeah. So, okay. Alright. Have fun. Oh, you think I'm resting? I've just started up the stream.
Oh, Panda's just here in the middle of their own.
Oh yeah, no. I'm here fully to chill myself. Right, guys?
Twitch.tv/PandaPops90, where if you're interested in viewing Vox Edit-based content and not watching games created in the Sandbox Game Maker, you can go check it out, Twitch.tv/PandaPops90. She, of course, is our Monday live streamer on this official channel, so you'll be familiar with her face and enjoy her lovely content. That's happening live right now.
Yeah. Well,
There we go.
So, yeah, came here to chill myself and also to just be like, hashtag hand friend. And now.
Wow.
I'm gonna run away now. Bye.
Right.
Hey, comrade. Hope you're doing well.
At the Sandbox game, Goral is hidden somewhere inside the Cryptoween experience. Have you seen him? Find him. Earn some sweet, sweet candies. That piece for now. Then, also, today, launching in Alpha Season number 3, the Fortress of Blood Souls experience is open. With its stone walls and heavy catapults, Blood Souls is a stronghold whose name enemies murmur restlessly in their sleep. Explore at your own risk, terrifying creatures from explorers. Check that experience out in Alpha Season 3 and right now on the website, sandbox.game. Get them. Also, related to Cryptoween, but good for every season going forward. memorabilia, which is not an NFT, but an account level reward. It's just for your account specifically. Visit all 5 Halloween experiences to earn yourself the Halloween memorabilia open until the end of the season. This is free spooky experiences have been added to the Sandbox map. It's Tell, Hell's Gate, Deja Vu, and the Alpha Lobby rework and the Club XYZ rework. So if you go to all of those experiences, you will earn that memorabilia. Make sure you get that done. It's only happening now. Alright? It's out. Then, at the Sandbox game, celebrating the 1,000th day of the metaverse, we're distributing sand to all of our loyal landowners. There is a 2.6 million sand total pool to claim. Check eligibility if you owned land during the snapshot. Sandbox.game/en/me/claim. You will have a claim open, and that claim varies based on the number of lands you own. Okay? So if you only own one, I think it's 26 point something sand that you can claim. If you own many lands, you'll get much more than that. So go check it out. If you do own a land already, it's a nice reward, payback, a thank you to the community who do own those lands. Now, there was, I might have to download a new version of the game now that I'm thinking about it, because it's been a while since we went and explored your content on the show. We've been playing so much alpha, testing so much alpha. You can see my entire download folder on this computer is just TSP Game Maker, you know what I mean? Just good updates during the season chat. I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna open it up here in just a minute. Sure. Yeah. So, a memorabilia is if you completed a function during a determined time, whatever that memorabilia was, then it's an account level sort of check mark that you'll have. You'll have a little badge that's in your account that shows you what memorabilia you have. So when I'm on the website here and I click on my profile, I can click profile and I can click badges here, or the drop down I can click badges as well. And it looks like it's going to take a second to load up as I'm downloading the client at the same time. But here in the badges you'll see all of the different functions that you might have done in the past. So if you completed Alpha Season 1 and you got to level 5 in Alpha Season 1, you'll have a memorabilia badge for that. Alpha Season 2, level 5, same thing. Between Alpha Season 2 and 3, there was another event that was based around the People of Crypto assets and that such thing. So that gave you another badge. And then those badges are usable in the sense that in the season, the tickets that increase your chances of getting an Alpha Season Pass, you can see those memorabilias are here. Owning a Season 1 Pass, owning a Season 2 Pass, having a Season 1 and 2 memorabilia, the Belonging Week memorabilia. You can see I didn't complete all the tasks during Belonging Week that were supposed to be done. We made the announcements. I didn't get the memorabilia, so I don't want to miss that opportunity this time. I'm going to go back into those Halloween experiences and make sure I get the memorabilia because I don't want to miss out on these tickets as I get into Season 4 in the future or any other kind of seasons that may come out. Chat. I sacrifice my ears for you whenever we are in here. I'll tell you what. Preview. I'm gonna slut like that. Anyway.
And real quick announcement for everybody. There was an email sent out from the Sandbox, and the subject line was you won an alpha pack, but it was the announcement for an avatar collection, the actual body message. So that was back to the station.
Probably from the same person who sent out the you act like the legitimate you want to pass just like earlier in the day.
Right. And if you have a sketchy email inviting you to something along the lines of like a Google Meet, as I read earlier, I probably wouldn't go along with that. I would double check the email directly, but usually the Sandbox will not be inviting you to any Google Meets. It'll be more of a official setup and meetings ahead of time. You will be well aware of meetings that you are going to be aware of.
They're definitely not going to be one where it says join now. It would have been something in the past. We have invited usually just landowners for a sneak peek preview of some other kind of something that comes up, but we arrange it like a month ahead of time when we do that. So, as Hodel Hill says, and as I mentioned before, don't click email links. Don't trust your grandma. Whatever comes through, if there is something that comes through in your email, whether it's sent by us or somebody else, you'll always see that represented inside the website. So don't click the links, don't trust anything, just go to sandbox.game directly in your browser, and then if you had something to claim, you can click on your avatar up here, you can click claims, and you will be able to do so.
Right. And I don't think that we're planning on doing a surprise reward for completing all the quests. That's just a lot to ask for, if you ask me.
Currently, I actually, Panda Pops, before she, in a previous call, we were at like 9 in the morning earlier today, she had mentioned to me that right now, if you have all the quests done, you're already in the top 10,000 on the leaderboard. So if you already have done that, you have a reward right now. Panda's like got 150 EPs that they don't have, and still is in the top 10,000 right now. So you will definitely get that leaderboard win if at this time, if you have all the quests done.
Right. And as far as everybody questioning when that leaderboard update is going to be pushed out, be patient. Everybody's working real hard, and as we just heard from Panda Pops, it should be later today, she said, that or tomorrow, as the team is working hard and getting the new version and the new times out.
Yep. Yeah, and that's the thing. With regards to leaderboard questions, comments, concerns, myself directly, Conrad directly, Panda Pops directly are among the team of people that is actively handling fixing leaderboard issues that have come up, and that takes time. We had 800 quests plus to re-verify because community members were able to say, okay, within the rules that were put out there, we have got a better time than that, right? That's great. So we're manually going through re-verifying those things, verifying their functionality. When we see somebody do a cool new trick that is within the rules, and it happens that, you know, it's reproducible now, then we go, great, okay, and we're updating those times. But again, you want to make sure that we don't have to do this 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times, but rather go done, push, updates that, and it's done. All the times that you record right now, every attempt that you make, if that time is within the new valid times, once we push all these cool updates, these cool fixes that you guys have been able to prove to us are possible, then you will see your times automatically update on the scoreboard. So if you've tried it like 6, 7, 8, 9 times, and you have a varied like amount of time block, whatever that fastest possible time that falls within that reality of acceptable times now, that update will come. That said, everything that we're doing today is sort of backward thinking, right? It's fixing things so that your time that you have already done hasn't been wasted. What we need to do as a platform, as a community, is to make sure that Season 4 doesn't have this problem. So fixing these in the way that we're fixing them and putting in the extra many hours that we have been putting in over the last week, 2, 3 weeks, depending on who's working on it.
It's why there hasn't been a DMA show recently.
Right. These things don't fix Season 4. There's a different and better way to fix Season 4. These are things that we are doing extra to help you, because there were really only 2 viable options. One was do nothing and have the cheaters be able to cheat, right? And if we did that, obviously that doesn't work. We had a large contingent of community members saying we don't want cheaters to be able to cheat. I think everybody can agree that's the case. We don't want to see that. And so, as a result, we did this leaderboard update. That, of course, for roughly the top 1,000 people, they got real frustrated on any given one time. Now, we are working to fix that in the opposite direction. And just a full disclosure and clarity for anybody watching, whether you're watching live or you're watching later on VOD, on YouTube or something like that, when we look at this metric, there's a very clear disparity, and I'll try to draw it with my hands so you can see it. You'll see like a chunk of people like this, right? And it's very slowly getting thicker, this chunk, with like the slower you are. And then what will happen is right as you get to like the very best people, there is a harsh, hard drop off. So it'll be like 25 people can do it at this speed, and then nobody for like 5 seconds or something, depending on the class, right? It's all relative time scales. For like 5 seconds, nobody can do it at all. And then all of a sudden, there's 1,000 people who have managed to do it right here, right? And so we have to make the distinction and the difference. Are those 1,000 people cheating, or is there a legitimate time and a legitimate method for this that isn't cheating that somebody put up on YouTube or something, right? Because a lot of the things that you guys have been sending in, the videos that you've been sending to us, are great proofs. But usually you've all sent in things that are the same 20 plus, literally. Like the same couple of, Conrad, what was the name of one of these that had really popular videos? There was one that was a really condensed area, you know what I'm talking about? Like the camera was always really nice and careful. Okay, well, yeah, anyway, I'm not thinking of the title of the experience right now, but that one, like, hundreds of people have sent in, like, not hundreds of individuals, but hundreds of videos have been sent in for that particular experience. And, yeah, Adventures in the Floating Castle, thank you, Rocky Prax, you know what I'm talking about. So they've sent in this video over and over and over, and that's part of what takes so long, is that you really have to look, and you have to respect each individual person who's sending in your video, because you might send in a video of Adventures in the Floating Castle where you watched a trailer on YouTube, and then watching the tutorial or whatever on YouTube, you found a way to shave a half a second. So I still have to respect that you might have the world record and go back and look through each individual video of those. And so that stuff takes time, and I hope that you can understand that. But again, the thing that I'd like to impress here is that when we do look over these videos, it's sort of backward thinking, right? It's to respect your time individually as best as humanly possible. And then what we need to do as when season 3 ends is fix it in such a way that season 4 doesn't have this problem. And that's the work that needs to really be done, is making sure that the future of the sandbox is always better than the past, and less so much going backwards. And so I want to express to everybody who's watching, anybody who has had their times sort of erased here or there, or it seems like they've been erased, they're not actually erased, but I get the perception, that thank you for your time. Thank you for putting in the dozens of hours, hundreds of hours, depending on who you are, and like playing these experiences and really breaking them the same way that we do in the GME show, right? And you're doing things in new and unique ways, which really helps the development teams that are making games in Alpha Season 3 and 4, and whatever comes up forward. Anybody who's making experiences in the metaverse can now make a better and more complete game because of the work that you are helping, right? And hopefully you see that reward as you see that the seasons get better every season. Hopefully you look at the reward as more than just sand tokens. Of course, what we're doing, what Conrad, myself, Panda, and many others are doing, is to maximize the amount of financial rewards you can have, opening up those leaderboards again and getting your times back in there for sand rewards. But those times must be provable and within the rules in order for us to do that. So we're going to have that out there. There are improvements that we can make in terms of what are the rules. But, as I mentioned in a private conversation earlier this week, this is the very first leaderboard that's ever been in the metaverse. This is the very first cryptocurrency reward that's ever been distributed for a leaderboard in a metaverse. This is the first one we've ever done. Which means that, as is the nature of an alpha, there will be hiccups. So again, the thing that I want to stress is that we as a sandbox want to make sure that the future is better than the past, right? And so we're going to work hard to make sure that that future is better than the past. The work that we're doing this week, the stuff that's made the GMAE show go offline, is trying to go backwards and help you with the thing that already happened, which is, you know, that's a good thing. We want to do that, but the long-term goal should be to not have to go backwards, not have to look at the stuff in the past. And there was no tangible way to have a hindsight on this. Like before we launched, there was no tangible way to look backwards because, yeah, we could tell the developers you're not allowed to fix your game, but if we do that, that's not decentralized, and that's a huge focus that we have in this space. So the methods that we can use to go forward is maybe just something like a shorter timeline for the leaderboards, possibly. It could be something like knowing that updates are going to come out on a certain day so the community knows this game, if it gets patched, it's not eligible for leaderboards and it might get patched on this day. There's lots of different methodologies that we can go through to fix that and we'll be looking forward. But I just want to go through all of that right now because, 30 minutes into the stream here now. Quite frankly, we can't spend the entire stream going over these over and over and over again. So when we see those questions, what we'll do going forward is we'll address them at the top of the show if the leaderboard hasn't been updated during the rest of this week, but I think that it will be at least once or twice, but we'll see. I know that we're putting in the legwork to actually add those times. Like, we're the ones doing it, among others. So you're going to see that work out there. Nonetheless, Gonzalo Herrera explain that editing a game mid-season creates unfair conditions. So yes, again, can do that. But if you're a landowner, Gonzalo, is it appropriate for me to tell you what you can't do in a decentralized space, an individual ownership space? Is it appropriate for me to tell you what you cannot do with your land? I don't think that it is. And when you go in as a designer and you create your experience and you're in something that's known to be an alpha, typically as a developer, when you push something as an alpha in the games development world, that means that you take the feedback from the community and you patch the things, right? And the nature of the leaderboard being the length that it was, I think is the biggest thing that kind of interfered with that. Because that would mean either you tell developers you have all these problems, you know them, and you can't fix them, or you allow them to fix them very well. So it's a thing that we can grow on, right? And that's what you want to do in an alpha. You want to take your product, you want to take your platform, and you want to grow it, and you want to make it better. And that's what we're going to be doing as we move forward. Right now, again, we're looking back, and we can try to fix as much as we can looking backwards, but we have to focus on looking forwards as more importantly, because what already happened may not be able to be changed, but the things that do happen in the future can absolutely be changed. We can absolutely fix tomorrow, right? So that's what we'll stay focused on for now. Of course, like I said, Conrad, myself, Panda, many other people actively working on fixing the leaderboard from the patch that we made, but also keeping the application that cheaters can't just be accepted. We've already had the community very clearly say cheaters can't be accepted. So now how do we make it so the maximum number of people get their times approved because you proved it and cheaters aren't accepted? We're going to make that happen. Anyway, let's move forward. A user had asked me over on twitter.com, which I will go find right now. They said, I want you to play my game live. Because they submitted a game for a game jam, and they did not get in the top 10 results. And that's okay. That's what the GMAE show is most of the time. What we like to do is we like to come out and play your experience before they are released, before they're submitted for a game jam, to intentionally try to break those experiences. And then in doing so, we can help you get better game development principles so that when your experience launches in, hypothetically, Alpha Season 4 or something like that, you get good reviews from the community. You get people having fun playing in your experience. And sometimes that'll mean that Joe's going through and saying, you're not a native English speaker. I'm going to help you fix that. Sometimes it's going to be me jumping over a wall, and then you say, wait, you weren't supposed to be able to do that. And I will say how we can fix that, right? So we'll come up with different solutions as we go through the play here, but hopefully you'll enjoy it. And the comment that I received was the Ballad of the Souls. So I'm going to try to find that here using the Game Busy Genie Dashboard by Tom Voxel. Let's see.
Okay. Real quick before that,
Yeah, of course.
we did have a question about trying to get into a certain experience. Let me pull back up that. We got a few other questions as well.
both of your times or all of your times are still on record. So how the original distinction was made, and all those times are still there, was you would have a very large bulk of people, the average player, right? And it would have a certain period where the average player playing in a consistent way just suddenly they just kind of disappear. Maybe it's like at 25 seconds or something. They'd be playing in their best possible time of like 25 seconds, and then it falls off a cliff, and nobody can do 15 through 5. And then all of a sudden, 1,000 people have done 5 seconds or less on the exact same quest. And so when you see something like that, unless it's provable by video, you have to assume that the people who did it in the shorter time period have shared a bot or some kind of exploit or something like that that is outside of the rules. Now, if you, in the community, prove to me that 2 seconds was possible, I'm one of many people doing it, but you've sent in the videos on Discord or something, you sent it to me. If you prove that 2 seconds is possible to me, and I can look at your video, I can see it's within the rules, and I can reproduce it, or I can see that it's quite clearly reproducible, to be clear. Some of you are really good, but we recognize that. Then we're going to take that as a valid time, insert that manually, and say that's a new valid time. And everybody who has a time higher than that 2 second time, automatically put all those times on whatever it was. So your thing might say 15 seconds. Now it might even be a registered, like you might have gotten an EP and it says 15 seconds or something. If my new time is 2 seconds and you had a 4 second time, it would automatically just go boop, down to 4 seconds on your account. You would already see it because you already recorded it. It doesn't matter necessarily that, like, you could do it right now, this second, and it might say that you didn't post a time, but the time is recorded on the back end. Every time that it goes, like this one that says find the key right now, not completed, every time that goes through, I still see it. You're going to see the best valid time on there currently, but if you can show me on video a better valid time, then I can update that valid time in the back. But that's, right. Again, this is a response to actively seeing a valley of people who can't do it in that section, and then suddenly you've got 1,000 people who can. And again, maybe that's a YouTube video or something, but most of the time it's not.
And where these time proofs have been going is directly into the Sandbox Discord, not directly DMing Vision X or Joseph, my co-host here, as his DMs are going to be forever closed.
To be fair, there are
thousands of them otherwise.
They're actually open on Discord, and I still field those questions. I would prefer that you put them in Discord themselves on a ticket so it can be in one place, but I absolutely have had a wall of DMs on my Discord that I still have looked at. Yeah.
And to answer once again, there shouldn't be a 100% completion reward. That is a little rough to ask people or to assume for people to do. And if it is a gated event, for instance, for the EP, unfortunately those EPs cannot be regained. But if it was something like a time was invalid and your EP was taken away, well, those will be retro added on this upcoming update that should come out either today or tomorrow. So just hold the breath for just a moment.
All right. So yeah, to be clear, I totally have like 80 DMs right now that I've gotten since this morning.
Oh goodness, I thought you were closed on those DMs.
No, I get a lot. And I try to check them. I try to check them as well as I can. So I'm actually looking at the Game Genie, and I'm not seeing the experience that they sent me. Let me double check 1 second. They've got a title, The Ballad of the Souls, and I'm not seeing it in the Dizzy Genie. So I'm not sure if it wasn't published. Ballad? Nope. Yeah. So maybe we'll just go find one inside the Game Maker real quick. Something that was submitted for the Tower Game Jam, and we'll give some quick feedback on that real quick. Feedback real quick. How are you doing today, Conrad? How's life?
Oh, lots of reviews, lots of work. It's a good day to be in Web3. You know how it goes. But it looks like you were able to get into Hell's Gate, no problem.
Yep,
So,
I put it up real quick. I just had to refresh the main page. So if you're having an issue with that, you can press Control F5, and it will reset like cache or temporary data.
right. And if you're having further issue there, then what do you think would be the solution there, Joe?
Well, it depends. Sometimes you might have like regional connection issues with your server, as it is a content deployment network, global thing. So if that's the case, then just know that you can, you can press Control F5. You can kind of wait, or you can use a VPN to maybe go to another region and see if that's the issue. If it's a localized thing, but usually it's just a couple minutes maybe. I have noticed that there is a bunch of hype for crypto today, so I don't know if that's kind of affecting things in general. Like there was an unexpected load of people. I don't think that's the case, but maybe it is. And we'll see as it kind of develops. But all right. So we had an experience here, and one thing I guess to note about these particular castle or the tower game jam experiences, as we're looking at these, is that first of all, Conrad and I have very different styles of what tower defense means, right? We have very different preferences to the kinds of tower defense things, but I'm going to note the things that generally I see as positives, I see as the negatives, and then what I like as a preference for these experiences. So the first thing that I'm noticing here is that, in my opinion, the monsters are somewhat doing what you want them to do, right? For me, in tower defense, I like to see my monsters operate in some kind of lane-like mechanic. I like to see them, whether it's going, down 3 lanes, 2 lanes, 1 lane, a million lanes, whatever it is, some sort of a lane. And then secondly, operatively, these monsters seem like they're attacking the wrong thing in this particular experience. And so as I'm looking at them right now, they are focused on an object that I think is this wizard, maybe that one up there that I can't access. So that's a lane tower that has has a property of a person or thing, rather than the lane tower shooting an object, and that object can then deal damage to an asset, right? So typically in a tower defense game, when you're designing it, the towers aren't able to be interacted with by the monsters in any tower defense game. Usually, the towers are sort of the passive protection for the end goal, which is this gate over here. So when I'm sort of testing this, if I hit the monster, I attract its attention, and that's good. I can see how that would work, and that makes sense as to why they kind of want to go attack the wizard at the front. And I can attack the gate, meaning that that monster could potentially attack the gate if its focus wasn't still stuck on the front menu. So it could be that the attack radius of the monsters is too large as well, that is making them want to go back and still be able to hit the first tower here. As a result of those, further, the towers themselves here weren't able to kill wave 1 before the wave got to the wall. So, as I didn't place these towers, I would have sort of expected that the towers would kill the monster right away. So if that is the case, that they can kill the monster because they were already placed, that's good. If they can't kill the monster, that could also be good. But if the monsters make it all the way to the gate, for me, I would say, oh no, the monsters have reached the gate. We have to increase our fortifications. Help me, hero. Go place down some more towers. And then these squares that have these towers on here get placement for them. And these are all small things, right? Very small things, but when they combine, when they come together, they make a really high quality tower defense experience. So what did you think, Conrad, when you saw this particular experience come through?
Well, the towers aren't involved enough, right? So, especially as far as what like player involvement goes, I want to be able to really affect the board itself and make my choices matter, where I can have my lane set up and then take a seat back, right, and then let the experience happen and not take my direct involvement. That's my favorite style of tower defense. I do like getting involved where you have all sorts of tower defense games, going as far back as to like I'm mistaking a game that Alex is always referencing, but you have experiences unlike what's being offered on YouTube over there. Don't click on any links. But you have experiences where you are directly involved in a map like this, where it's hack and slash combined with that tower defense, but there's more of an emphasis on hack and slash and the player's direct involvement. I like more of a tower defense game that allows me to strategize and then sit back, right?
Yeah, and I'd agree with that. So as I was in this experience and I talked about the minions being able to make it all the way to the wall, if you are, like you said, Conrad, able to place your towers and kind of sit back and watch your towers do the work, then that says that the towers are balanced enough to possibly be able to do the work. And yeah, not having involvement, you get a sense of reward immediately. Every wave that successfully gets defeated, you get that endorphin popping off. You're like, yeah, I'm good at setting up towers in this tower defense game. I know how to defend my castle. So you get that sense of accomplishment for that. When you have to actively be down here hacking and slashing, you don't get to notice as much, especially in a lane design like this. Do the wizards that I place at the front even matter? Right? You don't really get to pay attention to that because you're busy on the back end over here the whole time trying to slash through these goblins. So in an ideal tower defense,
concerned about my optimization as a player instead of the tower optimization as a strategist.
Yeah, and that's the thing, in my opinion, that you want to try to avoid is having to have your player be so concerned with slashing and mostly just being able to take pride in the work that they've done to build with the mechanics that you made. And so when I see the monsters make it to the end, that's okay, so long as some narrative beat comes down and it says, you can do better, help me, and because this is the first wave. So I assume that the chat or the text here says destroy the first order, so we'll see what happens when I destroy all the goblins. And they're taking 6 damage at a time, so it takes a while. The towers could not have done this in time, based on the amount of damage that the towers dealt. But that could have been something where the logic changed since the game was originally created. So now you've got the second order. And this is a small criticism, but something that's very valid to me. When you are a non-English speaking developer, that's good. Thank you for being here. Make sure that you put in your text into Google Documents or Microsoft Word first before you put them into the game. Because in this case, you wrote the title Sext Ord. That's how a person might pronounce that if they were trying to pronounce it like numbers work. And then in the line item, you wrote destroy the Sext Order. So you wrote order correctly the second time, but not the first time. And then this is actually second 2ND in English. And so that's not something that you would know, and that's okay. That's something that we all learn because we've been doing it for a long time, and English is dumb, you know what I mean? English doesn't make sense. It's like 4 different languages that got squished together. So there will be little things that you will miss if you're not a first native English speaker. And that's okay. But yeah, make sure that you run it through a word processing app so that they can tell you with the red underline, this is wrong, and then you can get those things fixed. And then, as we get into the second wave, you can see again, I didn't get to place more towers here in the first wave or after the first wave. I'm also getting no reward for actually defending, except that the next wave comes. So there's no incentive for me to defend. There's no defense happening from the towers, and I can't place towers in the tiles where it appears that I should be able to place a tower, and that's okay in a certain way. I think what happened here is that they probably, as an individual, didn't have enough time to develop all of these mechanics. They created some things very well. Like I said, I like the idea personally of a singular lane. I like the idea that the characters themselves are on rails. On rails meaning they have a predefined path. That helps a lot with that, the ability to get to what myself and Conrad have mentioned, which is you don't have to hit them with your hands. The towers can do the defense. So you're pretty close to that, but a couple of steps off here. Not bad. Definitely not bad. All right, let's see if I can answer some questions here in the chat as they come in live. Once again, with regards to the leaderboard specifically, if you want to know any answers about the